today we have Jessica, and you are the new Main Street director here in Oskaloosa. And so, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you came from, and some of your background?
Sure, yeah. I started here July 7th. I was actually born and raised here in Oskaloosa, and graduated high school here, so it feels really good to come home. I'm in the process of moving back to town, and I've spent the last 10 years kind of living all over Iowa. I was in Ames for a while, and Cedar Rapids, and I worked as the director of marketing at the Children's Museum recently. So I'm super excited to come back home and contribute to the future of downtown Oskaloosa and the community.
So some of those experiences that you had, you worked in Ames and as marketing for Iowa Children's Museum, if that's correct. So tell me some of those skills that you brought from those experiences to Oskaloosa.
Yeah, my background is in, marketing and social media. While I was at the Children's Museum, that's where I was able to really get involved in tourism. I've always loved small towns and traveling to small towns in Iowa and around the U.S. and finding, those special gems. So when I found out about Main Street programs, that just seemed like a really good fit for my marketing skills and my nonprofit background and social media and events. And then I also have a passion for historic preservation and, maintaining those beautiful old buildings. So I've been interested in Main Street programs for a while, and I just feel really lucky that I ended up getting to work for my hometown Main Street program, which is pretty special.
Well, let's talk about your initial time in Oskaloosa. Why don't you tell us about yourself and your early times in Oskaloosa?
Let's see. When I was here, I was, in high school, I was very involved in theater. So throughout my high school years, George Daly was a second home to me. I volunteered on the tech crew there and, acted in lots of plays, as well as the Oskaloosa Community Theater back when it was in that little that old church over on High, right? Yep. Yeah. So lots of good memories there. I'm really excited about all the things that are happening here with George Daly and the arts. Yeah.
Well, so you came to town just as the second phase of the revamped downtown was going on, and you went, wow, busy place. So what are some of the first things that you've jumped in to learn, maybe just learning more about Main Street? I don't know. What are some of those first things that you're taking on?
It's interesting because, growing up here and with my family still living here, I still come back on the weekends. So I was seeing the progress downtown. I was hearing about the cool thing, the new arts center and the sculpture tour and all these great things happening. But now it's a whole different side to see how those things, are getting put on, and especially, the events like we did Sweet Corn Serenade. And I, remember going to that as a kid, but it's totally different to be on the planning side of things, especially in a year like 2020. So
you're seeing the sausage, so to speak, being made that enables those things to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little bit different world. What kinds of things can we start looking forward to in the near future from Main Street?
Well, one thing we're doing right now that we're really excited about, and you've probably seen a little bit about it, maybe on a commercial or the radio or on social media, but Oskaloosa Main Street launched our support small, shop smart, lots of S's, campaign to really build up our small businesses downtown and around town during this difficult time that so many businesses are struggling. I'm actually wearing one of our shirts right now. The shirts start at $20, and we're also selling decals. But the purpose of this campaign is to really, put your money where your heart is. And all the proceeds from these sales, we're hoping to create a grant fund for the small businesses in our community that either continue to struggle or, if another shutdown happens in some kind of capacity, so that we can try to help people on a local level and not just wait for state or federal relief. So I would encourage everyone to check that out on social media, as well as at mahaskachamber.org/Main Street. We have the link to buy yourself a t-shirt. We've got them in maroon because that's a popular, requested color to also show your Oski pride. And then we are working really hard to figure out how we can safely put on our fall and winter events in some kind of capacity where people are safe and comfortable, and just like all other communities across Iowa and the country right now, we're exploring all of our options and paying attention to what's going on, but we are focusing really hard on being able to do something.
Well, let's kind of revisit the COVID epidemic that that really did shutter or harm local businesses. I don't think we really lost many, but I know that several small businesses here were on the verge of being out of business because of the shutdowns. So you guys have focused on that. I know you came along after all of this really happened the first time, but I know that you guys are focusing on helping those businesses. What kinds of needs were businesses, what were they expressing that they need help from the chamber with, besides funds?
Sure. Even us as consumers, you start to realize how much in online sales are increasing, for example. So it's important for the small businesses to have some kind of online presence, whether that's website, social media is huge. So we're looking at ways we can reach out to them there. We're trying to get the word out about Shop Iowa, which is a online marketplace that Iowa Economic Development Authority is providing free for a year for brick and mortar retailers to sell 25 products online at no charge to them. It just takes the work of getting it set up. So if that's something that a local retailer, as long as they have the brick and mortar shop and they need to get online, that's something we can try to help them with. As well as just being a resource if, my background is in social media, so I've been, as I'm connecting with the small businesses and introducing myself, I'm letting them know that I'm here as a resource to reach out to with those kind of questions as well as, Main Street and the Chamber helping, spread the word about them as well. It's important for people to know that you can get takeout from your local dining establishments so that you can still support them, and that even if you're not comfortable shopping in person in a store or a shop, reach out to them, message them on Facebook or give them a call. A lot of them will set up an appointment for you so that you can come in and feel comfortable and still support them.
And I taking this because you're new still and you haven't been ahead. But is there some sort of advocacy that's taking place from Main Streets and chambers to the government to say, if you do have to do a shutdown again, let's remember Main Street this time?
Yes. Main Street is we're kind of in the middle of it. We were advocating to be included on that next relief package, which is kind of at a standstill. But we did advocate asking for some funds that could be, dedicated, to a competitive grant program for Main Streets across America to be able to directly help their small businesses in their districts.
All right. Well, let's talk about something a little more fun. So it's not that long until trick-or-treating's come around, and we always have a great big, you probably remember it, a great big trick-or-treat parade that happens. How does that take place in the middle of COVID?
That's what we're trying to figure out. We're probably going to have to come up with, our plan, but then some backup plans. And I think that's everyone's situation this year. But we're going to talk very closely with public health and emergency services to make sure that what we're doing is in line with, the best practices, because whatever we do, and we're paying attention because school's back in session now, so we don't, a lot of things could be changing, but the health and safety of our community is a top priority because, it's not just the children, but it's our staff and our volunteers, and all of that impacts our community as a whole. And I feel like we've been able to be fairly lucky so far. So we just want to proceed, as safely as possible. But follow us on Facebook, because whatever we decide, we will be getting that out in the very near future.
We could just make masks mandatory for Halloween. Would that break everybody's heart?
Everyone wears masks anyways, right?
So,
have a mask decorating contest.
There we go. Something like that. So, and then within a month or so will be the lighted Christmas parade.
Yes.
And there again comes those questions. And almost everybody I've spoken with about COVID, we call it a completely fluid situation, because what happens one week may not happen the next. So looking long term at that lighted Christmas parade, what are some thoughts that are taking place? Are we having it? Are we not having it? What's going on?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. We're in discussions about that, and it is fluid, because whatever we decide to move forward with for Halloween, how people, behave in that scenario will probably impact what happens in the winter. So if we decide to move forward with something and we're able to social distance and wear masks, and we're able to do it in a safe way, like we were, Sweet Corn Serenade and some other, other towns have been able to do, then we can, proceed with that caution. But we're looking at other options. There's a lot of creative ideas out there. We hope to move forward again with something, and I will be really excited to share what we were able to move forward with. But the good news is painting with lights is happening. So our downtown will, dazzle everyone regardless. We will be reaching out to businesses about getting those lights up, and the raffle will still be happening. So
you can spill the beans a little bit. We won't tell anybody about it.
There are no beans to spill yet. We are making decisions we are in the midst of it.
So I suppose maybe discussions like, hey, let's lengthen the parade route and everybody can be in their car, or different things.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, there are the things you think about, there are towns that do, reverse parades where people still get to make their floats. And so the floats are set up and lit up, and, people drive around them. I think is how it works, kind of with towns already in the past have done, trunk or treats for Halloween. There is a town, it escapes my mind right now, but whenever they did their lighted Christmas parade, afterwards they would set up the floats in different parts of town, and people could still go check out the floats for days, all lit up. But yeah, I mean,
no beans to spill yet.
I don't know what we're doing yet, and again, there will probably be a plan, and we will probably have a backup plan as well, because we don't know what to expect quite yet.
All right, I can appreciate that. So so what personal things? I mean, when everybody takes a job, you kind of have a vision or some direction that you want to take or help establish. So what are you thinking? Where are you wanting to see Main Street head in Oskaloosa?
Yeah, I mean, I want to promote downtown Oskaloosa and Oskaloosa in general as a great place to live and a great place to visit. So, once we can get past COVID, I look forward to what else we can do down there for events and, utilizing the square as a great gathering place. And I'm a big fan of public art, so I'm already really excited about the murals that are going up that Face is doing. But yeah, I just want to see it as a place where, it's people are gathering, people are enjoying people's company, hopefully in the future not 6 feet apart and masked up.
So when you didn't live here, when you would come back, what were some of those things that you looked the most forward to in Oskaloosa?
I like browsing the books at the book vault. If you, in any town, whether I'm in Oskaloosa or any other town, I can usually be found in a bookstore or an antique shop or somewhere where there's old furniture. Yeah, things like that, as well as, I was really excited to come back here and try some of the new restaurants that had opened up that, Brick House Cafe, they're right next door to our office, and I probably eat there too much now. But but it's great to see, the new businesses open up, and we just had Betsy's boutique shop open up. Has it already been just last weekend? But first one in Iowa, so that's really exciting that we're able to open a new retailer in the midst of a pandemic.
Well, I was going to say that really is noteworthy that somebody was willing to take a risk in the middle of a pandemic to open a store.
Yeah. And I mean, Betsy's has a great online following. So again, it ties into, in this day and age, you have a better chance succeeding if you can, sell your stuff in multiple ways and reach your customers in different channels.
Well, we've kind of reached the end. Is there something that I've missed that you would like to touch on or talk about?
I'd like to let people know that those Painting with Lights raffle tickets are for sale. Hanging up all those lights all over downtown, that is funded by local businesses and community members. So we still have lots of great prizes lined up. So there's a lot of exciting things you could win and look forward to and hope for in 2021, which is just around the corner, we hope. Check that out on Facebook. We have the information up on the Chamber website, which is now mahaskachamber.org. So we're trying to spread the word on that.
All right. Well, we thank you for your time to come in and
thank you.
Share a little bit about yourself and where Main Street's going in the near future.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.